Hi guys, welcome to my very first YouTube video. I do post on TikTok quite a lot and I just find that the 10 minutes isn't enough, which is what ultimately led to wanting to move on to YouTube. On top of that, I've been requested to do a lot of makeup tutorials, which the 10 minutes again just doesn't cover in depth of the placement, the products, like the blending techniques. I don't really know, and the whole 10 minutes is taken up somehow. Let's jump in. Alright, once we've got the hair clips in, I look really bald right now in the face, so I'm going to do my lashes. I'm going to put the link to everything in the description below, if I remember. Oh, these are the lashes. Clock that. Next I have this lash glue. This is that. However, I actually prefer a brand. It's called Eyelash. There's a picture of it. I also got this kit. It's got tweezers and a spoolie. I'm gonna do my lashes and I'll show you guys the placement. I recommend using a bond and seal. Don't go too crazy with the bond, because bond is actually horrible and terrible, and anything that is another synonym for the word bad and chaotic. The amount of lashes that I've lost from bond is actually diabolical. However, if you want them to stay on for like 2 weeks, what I'm gonna do, how I usually pretty much every time I do my lashes, I go the biggest one. So I think this is like an 8 to 16, I believe. I could be wrong. So I pretty much skip every second row. So first one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. So once I've got the lash off, I grab it with my filthy claws and then I get my glue. What I think a lot of people do, and the reason why they come off so easily, is they just put a little glue on the band like that. Tiny little bit on the bottom. Now that is going to have like very little hold on your lash, so what I like to do is really spread the glue up onto the cluster, enough to cover my whole lash. That's going to give it more area to hold onto, so it'll look more like that. Now I'm going to time-lapse me putting them on. I just wanted to explain how I do them, so now I'm going to put them on real quick and you're going to get some really delicious angles of up my nose. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, blow on the glue. Wait for it to get sticky before you put it on, otherwise you're going to play around with it, so. Okay, so that's one eye finished. Another thing, I always recommend using a seal and going along the bottom right under there. I don't have any, so I need to order some, okay? I'm gonna do a little transition and get the other eye done. Boom! Both eyes done and dusted. Tell me that transition didn't cook. Now I'm going to do my skincare. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit thirsty. So first up, I like to go in with a toner. This one is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow PHA Pore Toner. I feel like it's done my skin justice. So, okay, the next thing I do is a serum. So the serum that I use is the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid. Excuse me. This thing is the best thing ever. So I broke out really bad one time. It just felt like nothing would work, and it was like I've never broke out like that before. Like, this is a picture of what my skin was looking at. Again, I don't know if it was that serum. My breakout was gone in like a few days. Anyway, next thing, you can't really see the writing because it's been smudged off, but this is the Drunk Elephant. That's the name. Right there. So after I use this one, I don't use this one yet, but it's the Ceramiden's, Dr. Jart Ceramiden Skin Barrier Moisturizing Cream. So next, I'm going to do my mist. It's the Mario Badescu, I think it's the aloe vera one. Yeah, aloe and cucumber and green tea. I've used this one since I'm 17 now. My sister bought me my first one when I was 12. Do the math. So next, I'm going to do the Dr. Jart Moisturizer. I literally use the tiniest bit, it spreads out really well. And I just rub it on my cheeks. Or anywhere that there's redness. I get redness between my brows here, so I'm gonna put a bit there too. And on my chin as well, and around my nose. So basically my whole face, actually, is what I'm trying to say. And then the last thing I do is sunscreen. I've got the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. I don't think a single thing that I've showed you guys I spent my own money on. Like, out of the skincare. I bought my lashes. I might have bought my Ordinary serum. But yeah, everything else my parents got for me on like birthdays or Christmas and stuff. but it all lasts like a while, like months and months. I don't think, like the toner lasts me half a year if I get the full size, like it's really good. So I'm gonna have to rebuy the sunscreen, I think, because it's a travel size. Anyway, now that that's all rubbed in, I'm going to start my makeup. Ooh, the moment you've all been waiting for. You've probably clicked off by now. I'm sorry, I'm a yappa, I need to put that in my description. I don't know if you're doing your own makeup and you take a while and you get sick of trying to find a video because they all finish and are too short. My videos are good for that. Sorry. So first I'm going to start with my brows. Also, just to clarify, this isn't like a glam makeup or anything. This is purely just my everyday makeup routine. The only difference, honestly, between my everyday routine and like soft glam makeup is eyeshadow. I just don't do eyeshadow on the daily. Not next month, the month after, in November, I'm doing 5 of the year 12 formal makeup. So I'll be able to, if they let me, I can post some makeup tutorials on their formal makeup. Because I did a trial yesterday and it cooked. It cooked. Like, sorry, freak. Okay, so for my brows, I plucked my brows last night and I think I overplucked because they're looking a little thin. So I really wish I could tell you what this was. I don't even know. It's my mom's. So I am just as clueless as you are as to what product this is. I think I have a suspicion it's Maybelline. But yeah, I actually am quite unsure because I can't tell what a single thing says on here. I'm sorry. So basically, I don't like to go all the way because they look a little blocky if I do that. So I like to fill in the tips up into about halfway. Or if you do want a more filled in thing and don't want that left out, I go in with a dark one and then a lighter one just on the sides here. Like the top and bottom, I don't fill in the middle because I'll show you in a minute. I get a spoolie and brush it through. My eyebrows are a little uneven at the moment as well, so I use the brow pencil to hopefully reconstruct a similar shape. I get a normal spoolie and then I just go here and I just brush them through like a madman and make sure that all the brow pencil is like really incorporated into each hair follicle of my eyebrow. So once it looks like that, now I shape it. So you can go back in with eyebrow pencil, but because it's not like, it's just an everyday makeup look, I am not that serious. Like, I don't care. It's slightly tinted, that's all I care about. Now this brow likes to give me trouble. No matter what I do, I just can't seem to get it how I want it. It's just gonna have to do. I carve my brows anyway, so it's not a big deal if they're like messy or stupid. So when you do this tutorial and your brows like have the eyebrow pencil all over your face, don't worry about it. You're not going to see it by the time the makeup look is done, I promise. Once you've got them brushed out, I go in with a concealer, the lightest one that I have if you want it really bright. It's this concealer from Kmart. It's the lightest one I got. This is all I got. And then I use this Morphe M410 brush. It's very flat. And I use that to carve out my eyebrows using the really light concealer. I start on the bottom. It doesn't really matter where you start. Brush down, don't brush up towards your brow, otherwise you'll get the concealer in it and we don't want that, because then your eyebrow's gonna look skinny queen, snatched, and maybe you might want that, but I don't. And when you brush it down, the concealer that goes onto your eyelid is really good for prepping your lid if you do want to do a shadow. So that's what the bottom looks like. Right, now I'm gonna do the top, and it's literally the exact same thing. First I line it, and then once I got the general line, now I brush up away from the brow and creating that nice sharp eyebrow shape. Like, say it ain't on fleek. Eyebrows on fleek. Alright, that is one eyebrow carved out. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other brow on a time lapse probably. Eyebrows carved out. I like to put the concealer in the middle and blend that out too, because if you use the foundation there, it's going to be darker and it's going to look kind of silly sauce. So this is what it's looking like. So once I've carved my brows, I go in with a beauty blender. I just use a setting spray to wet my beauty blender because, I don't know, I feel like it gives the concealer a better set so that it doesn't move around as much. And I kind of just lightly, sorry it's really wet. Now I'm going to do the foundation. I personally prefer to use a matte foundation. However, I don't have one. If I do have a matte foundation, it's more than likely going to be this Morphe one. But I ran out and I need to repurchase it. So right now I'm going to use this MCOBEAUTY. It's the dupe of the Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury, but it's the Flawless Glow by MCOBEAUTY. So I really need to buy more foundation ASAP. I will put it literally everywhere, and I will use a lot of foundation. I think that's something that so many people are scared of doing, and why they're not achieving the makeup that they want is because they've used the products too lightly or too sparingly. Like, you gotta take it on. If you want like a full coverage beat down, you're not gonna get that using not even enough to cover your skin. Like, you gotta really put her on there. Some people like to use a brush. I use a beauty blender because otherwise it looks streaky every time. I don't know why. It doesn't matter what brush I use, it always looks streaky, so I use a beauty blender. Now this specific foundation is for a more glowy makeup look, which isn't what I usually like, but it's what I have to deal with because that's what I've got. And when I go shopping, I'm going to look for a new foundation. I might do a little vlog. If I don't chicken out, I'll do a little vlog for the YouTube tomorrow and the day after. Remember also to blend into the hairline. I know people don't like that and it gets all messy up in your hair, but it's gonna look even sillier having a line of unblended foundation, so make sure you get it in literally every crevice. Now you're gonna go back over where you put the concealer and blend the foundation and concealer. So that's what we're working with right now. Okay, next I go in with cream contour. What I use is the Mecca Max Off Duty Contour Stick. It's just really good. I use it in the shade medium. For placement, I put it here, but I don't go too ham, otherwise it doesn't blend out and it looks really stupid from the side because of my double chin. Usually you put it where your cheekbone goes, but because my face is big, I don't like to put it where it is because it'll look really low. I put it higher, so right above my cheekbone, so it should be here. I put it here to give it a more elevated look. And then I put it on my forehead. Some people only do a little petite doop doop there. I have a big forehead, I need more, so I put it literally the whole way around. Next I put it on my nose, so I do that, and that is the placement. So I just blend that out. I'm gonna speed run the blending of this. So I blend out my face with a beauty blender, but when it comes to my nose contour, I use a little small fluffy brush. This one is the Morphe M506. So I use this brush for my nose contour powder and cream because why not? You're probably thinking, oh girl, that needs a lot more blending. But by the time I put all the like concealers and the powders, it'll be very faint. So I leave it so that it's still pretty predominant, but not like unblended. So somewhere at about this point of blending. Alright, next I do cream blush. This is the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Hope. If you want to invest in a good cream blush, it would be a Rare Beauty blush because it's never ending. It's like Mary Poppins reach-in bag that just like stuff just keeps coming out of. So because it's very pigmented, I suggest if you have a darker skin tone, you will probably need to use a bit more, like 2 dots maybe. But because I'm fairly pale, I use 1 dot and voila. Beauty blender for all the cream products, brushes for all the powder. That's how I do my makeup. If you don't agree with that, I don't care, actually. Now it's concealer. I use the Dior, what is this? Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer. Yeah, I think I had a sticker on the bottom, but it's not there anymore. So I don't know what shade, but it looks like that. And where I put my concealer is on my chin, under my nose, on top of my lip, and around my mouth, for that region of my face. And then for up here, do not get shy with under eye. Was that a bar? Put a little on my nose, not too much because then it'll like get rid of the contour, but that's also why I don't fully blend it out. A little at the tips of my eye to elevate my face, and then if you want it really chiseled, right under your contour, so where my actual cheekbone is. Also put a little bit on your forehead. That's where I put my concealer. I blend out 90% of my concealer with the beauty blender, but I leave my under eye for a brush. I go over it with a beauty blender after a brush, but I feel like the brush really packs it into the creases more, which lets it last longer. I use a brush that looks like this, and I use that to blend out my concealer. I go up onto my nose to give my nose a super sharp contour, and then I pat it, I don't brush it, I pat it into my under eye, because that's where a lot of my creasing is. And then this part, I brush up like that. That's what it's giving, and then because it can be a little streaky from the brush, I go in, not with the part that I wet with the drier part of the beauty blender, because I don't want to pick it up a lot. And it should look like that. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. And you can already tell how much sharper it makes your nose look. Then I just blend out the nose contour with a round small brush like that. And again, putting the concealer on the tip makes it look shiny. It gives it the effect because it's lighter. It looks like highlighter even though it's not shiny at all. Now that the cream products are all finished, I like to set my face with setting spray. This one is just a She Glam Locked In setting spray. I usually use hairspray actually for my setting spray. Just a little bit, not too much because we're about to go in with powder. Make sure your face isn't like a full powder or get that sort of clumpy. I use a packed powder first. This one is the MCOBEAUTY Invisible Matte Long Lasting Pressed Powder in the shade Nude Beige. So I like to use this to again eliminate my creasing. It makes your face so smooth and it literally, your pores will disappear. Like, I genuinely love this. So I put a little bit on a flat brush. This one is Morphe X Jeffree Star JS3. And then I go under my eyes on the creasing. You ain't gonna have creases no more, I'll tell you that much. I put a little bit on my forehead in my T-zone because I get pretty oily here. And like I said, I like my makeup matte, but I only have a glowy foundation, so this product really makes up for it. And then on my chin, any pretty much shiny spots that you don't want shiny. Under my nose, a big one, my smile lines as well. Next, I go in with this Morphe Jumbo Bacon Set Setting Powder, translucent. What I do, I put it into the lid so that it's easier to pick up off my sponge. I use a lot. She's crusty. That just means she's loved, okay? Quite a bit. And then I start by tracing it along the nose. Again, sharpen the contour. Then I drag it down under my eye and turn it to go up. So it's like, kind of like how you put the concealer. That's the biggest thing. If you want a flawless base, get rid of them creases, honey. Using the tip with any excess powder, I like to trace it along my nose. Any extra powder I use around my smile line, my chin because it's a little bigger. Get a heap on there. And then right where I put the concealer, so just on my actual cheekbone, create a sharp line, which is going to make you look snatched. And again on the other side. Any extra, I pat it onto my brows. And then see how there's concealer? I blend that in with the powder puff as well. So that is it for the powder. While my face sets, I do my lips while I wait for my face to bake. Okay, so for my lips, that's what it is called. And then you can select whatever one you want of these. I like to do a darker lip liner and a lighter lipstick. So I actually like to line my lips with my brow pencil because it's nice and dark. I like to overline just my Cupid's bow. No other part of my lip is getting overlined, just this one part, and now we just drag that down. I know it looks like dookie right now, trust the process. I like to use a tiny, very firmly packed brush. This one's a Morphe M508, and I blend that down. So it'll look like that. So get a sort of pinky colored lipstick, and don't fill it all the way in. You want a little bit coming off from where you put the liner. Now, lip combos always fade really quick, so I use any excess powder from my powder sponge and I dab it on. Now that we've done our lips, the baking powder should be set. Back to blending. I use a slightly smaller brush, and this one just allows me to blend out the powder without ruining the surrounding aspects. You can leave your makeup at this point if you like how it is. This is more of like a Latina sort of base. I'm going to move into some contour. This has no writing on it. I just know that I got it from Shein, so it's She Glam. I use a pretty flat, round sort of brush. And then, not where I put the concealer, where I put the other powder contour. You just go over. Don't blend too harshly, otherwise you'll see like your skin, it'll look like the products are separating. So go very light with it. Well, I just put it on a little bit here and drag it down. And then I put some here and here. And then lastly, I do nose contour. So I use the same small M506 brush that I use for the cream contour. Start on the tip, and then I go really lightly and blend up. If it's looking a little too sharp for you, you can blend this part and go onto your eyelid, and then it might look a little sharp from the side. Just blend down a little. It'll help diffuse the harshness of the line. Now is powder blush. I use this MCOBEAUTY DIOR dupe. It's the Glow Up PH powder blush in the shade Rosy Pink. The brush that I like to use, it's like a flat brush, and I pat it on. I kind of paint it like a paintbrush. That's where I put my blush. It's like a golden sort of highlight. Or there's this one, purpley. I think I might do the purple one. Purple ones! Now you're looking real good for your vatos. I like to use a super tiny, teeny weeny little brush for the tip of my nose because I don't want it like, boom, highlight! I want it like, oh, highlight. Then I just like tickle tickle onto my Cupid's bow as well. That's about it. Just the makeup. I hope it didn't disappoint. If it did, you probably clicked off already, so you wouldn't know. You can add a bit of gloss. I like to go in with a shimmery sort of gloss. That's it. Now I'm gonna take these out of my hair. Now I'm gonna go take some pictures for a thumbnail. I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, first video, kind of nervous. This is gonna take so long to edit. But if I do end up vlogging, come check out my channel. I'm gonna try and start posting more regularly on here. Okay? Comment #baddie if you stayed to the end. Okay, bye.